Still a birthday cake, uncut, candles still have not had a chance to be blown out. Instead, a 16-year-old girl who had to kneel over her brother's body while he took his last breaths. Gotta know her secret. I'm 27, rubbing Ben Gay on my knees now, so it's not looking up. So far, you can kind of get the sense that there's a hopeful atmosphere tonight, and can I point out how appropriate it is for Herschel Walker's campaign Watch the Party to be here at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's jump right into it. We start in Memphis, where police announced they're shutting down what was known as the Scorpion Unit. It's the unit some of the 5 former officers accused of beating Tyree Nichols to death were in.
And speaking of those forms,
They're called the 6419. The IRS says they'll be sending them out this month. And on that note, I will finally officially announce I will be suiting up as Batman. Well, Ben, that's a good question. She doesn't know what's going on in the Postal Service, won't talk to me. Now that the police have packed up and went home, all that remains is this piece of police tape and a memorial forged in her memory. Trucks parking in the old Walmart parking lot here on Buena Vista Road have been an issue for years. One owner says the drivers are rude, they dump trash, and simply put, they're bad for business. Terrence Flowers trains clients here at 4.0 Fitness on Buena Vista Road. He says pumping iron sometimes takes them outside to the parking lot, which wouldn't be a problem if at any given time almost 50 semi-trucks were not outside pumping toxic emissions into the air.
Not only is it an eyesore, they're also starting to block businesses that are around here, making it hard for traffic, bringing trash, and just making a whole scene of bringing pollution with their idling.
Chris Gagnon feels the same way. He didn't want to talk about it on camera, but the part of the parking lot he owns is where the trucks are parking. His business, True Storage, will be opening in the old Walmart next month, and he wants the trucks gone.
Is there anything that we can do as a council, or do we have any ordinance like on the books?
And District 4 Councilwoman Toya Tucker says she's aware of the problem and she's working on it. I even caught this Department of Public Safety officer asking the trucks to leave the area. According to the city attorney, there are city ordinances in place for this.
Normally, you would just give the city manager the address where you got a problem, and then either Mr. Pruitt from the building zoning side could look at it, or possibly law enforcement if it's a general violation.
At the end of the day, we are business owners. We pay our leases, and we shouldn't have to impact or change anything that we do at our businesses for people who are parking here illegally and for free.
District 4 Columbus City Councilor Toya Tucker says she's aware that there's not enough semi-truck parking within city limits and believes more should be done to establish that. However, it's not clear if any plans are actually in the works to establish that parking within the city. Reporting in Columbus, James Giles for WTVM News Leader 9. Yeah, Barbara, you're right. As you mentioned, that teen from last night's shooting is out of the hospital and expected to be okay. Now, just to paint a picture for you, a lot was going on when that shooting happened. Kids were having a water fight. Other kids and their parents were at baseball practice. Now, after that shooting last night, those parents say their families won't be back.
It's supposed to be a family atmosphere out here.
A water balloon fight Tuesday night at Shirley B. Winston Park in East Columbus quickly turned sour.
We literally just ran for our lives last night.
It's evidence that we need greater security at Shirley B. Winston Park.
President and coach of Sally Little League, Chris Smith, is a military veteran who's seen combat. He says Tuesday's shooting feels similar.
Being a veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, last night was the most vulnerable I've felt in 20 years.
And that vulnerability is turning away parents.
I know for sure I've already lost one family.
And prompting City Councilor Toya Tucker to turn her attention to the park. She wants to put up gates at the front entrance in hopes of deterring people from coming in after hours and doing donuts in the parking lot, littering, and committing crimes. Something Reginald Abrams says is happening but doesn't reflect the community.
Basically, we're telling whoever comes to this park, this is what we live like. This is what we are, you know, and this is not me. You know, I don't live like this, and I don't want the people in this community to say they live like this. You know?
And it will be just like at Carver Park.
Right now, the park closes at 11 p.m., but Tucker wants it to open at sunup and close at sundown. Abrams agrees with the move. He coaches kids on how to play baseball at the park a few times out the week.
It should be a multitude of solutions. I think that's a solution, you know, but then you have to worry about the foot traffic coming in.
He points out there's only so much the city can do, and at some point, the accountability needs to shift.
It's a lot to do with children being held accountable and parents being held accountable for their children, you know.
And Barbara, as you can see here, there are cameras here in this park. They work now, but I'm told recently they did have issues with Wi-Fi connection earlier this year. Columbus police are still searching for a suspect, so if you do have any information about last night's shooting incident, you're urged to contact Columbus Police Department. In the meantime, reporting live in Columbus, James Giles for WTVM News Leader 9. It's no secret. Crime in Columbus is a hot topic. The city even being dubbed the nickname Columbus. That's why a group of businesses paid a consultation company, Jensen Hughes, to come in and assess the police department.
We are working in a deteriorating department with the lowest morale many of us have seen in decades.
I don't care if you say the morale's bad or not, as long as you're doing your job. You are public servants.
The findings of the assessment have not come without controversy. We sat down with 3 officers currently in the department who are also FOP members to get a better understanding of the issues. At their request, we will not give their names, show their faces, or use their voices. Only tell you what they had to say, which did not sit well with Columbus NAACP President Wayne Hills.
If you have a problem, stand up and say you have a problem. Don't, throw a rock and hide your hand. Come in front of the camera. If you're interviewing people, come in front of the camera and say what you say. I mean, if it's your opinion, it's your opinion.
When the officers were asked the difference between current Chief Freddie Blackman opposed to his predecessor, Ricky Boren, Officer 1 says, quote, "With the old chief, you could go and sit and talk to him about problems. Have open communication about the problems, and he would give you his answer right then and there. There was no, well, I'll him and hollering about this, or tell you what you want to hear and turn around and do something completely different." Officer 2 follows by saying, quote, "With Blackman, it's that, let me get back with you," his favorite line. And Officer 3 adds, "Blackman never gets back with you." The Jensen Hughes assessment contends the 90 interviews they conducted revealed a general feeling of distrust throughout the department, and a lack of communication from the chief was voiced frequently.
But they didn't have this problem with Chief Ricky Boren. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck.
So we asked the question, is there an issue with Blackman's race, considering Blackman is a black man and the former chief is white? Officer 2 responds by saying, "This is not a black thing. I'm a black female. He's incompetent. He does not know what he's doing. He does not lead well. He can be a nice man to your face, but he is not a leader." When looking at retention, Jensen Hughes claims 200 of the department's 415 employees provided feedback into the main reasons officers are leaving the department. Those top 3 reasons being poor leadership and micromanagement by the chief, pay and pay compression, and retirement benefits. 241 officers left the Columbus Police Department from 2016 to 2020. In 2021, Blackman's first full year as chief, 84 officers resigned. The year before, 50 officers resigned. Jensen Hughes points out the department should develop a retention plan that focuses on actions the department could take to make officers want to work there.